So RTK is real-time kinesis, and so this is what we use to pull more from the satellites. So the GNSS stands for Global Navigation Satellite System. In case nobody knew, there's 4 different types of satellite systems. Russia has Glasnost, China has Baidu, Europe has Galileo, and then America has GPS. And so our phones, when you hear of like, dual band, tri-band, quad band, they're talking about the different types of GPS systems in the sky, because all of them have different satellites, and like there's benefits to each one. Like the lowest flying satellite besides Starlink is Russia's. So Russia, actually, theirs is better out in the country because they've got, not as many as China, but they're lower set. The one's better for the city is actually Galileo, because they're so high up, they can see in between skyscrapers and stuff like that. And China just has a crap ton of satellites. So our drones use all 4, and then if you have an RTK station, you can tap into that. Most farmers are already going to have their own RTK station, like Jonathan here. They map their fields with this. They get down to a centimeter level accuracy. They usually do like their laser precision level and cut sheets, stuff like that. So some don't choose to engage in this. Some don't get RTK. Your more progressive farmers that see the value in it and that they want to learn, they're going to pick up RTK systems. Now, Jonathan already had his own. He didn't have to get one from us. We are able to sell RTK systems, so we have like the towers that you can use. You don't have to buy anything for your spray drone. It comes built in. Now, depending on which scan or remote sensing drone you use, you may have to buy an RTK module for it. Now, the Mavic 3 Multispectral already has one built in. Well, apparently it's because the people that insure the insurance companies, like Goldman Sachs and stuff, they're not getting reinsured, and that's starting to be a problem. It's like the people that insure the insurance companies are not insuring them back, or they're raising the rates, and so they're passing that down, of course. And so that's where with the podcast is where, or with actually podcast / daily news updates / daily channel / something almost like an RFD style thing, to where I'm so deep in tech that I can show all this stuff. Mike has got the stuff with showing the savings on it. You've seen the $2.38 an acre savings in the field with a drone, to where I can start showing all the tech and all the stuff in one place where farmers can kind of go to either on one platform, TikTok, whatever, Facebook, YouTube, and watch it and see what changing, what is coming, stuff like that, so they're informed, so that way they're not having to look at CNBC and all these other places. So that's what I'm trying to do and get going, on top of already have expert farmers in the field that are seeing it, instead of these, because that's what pisses me off, is these specialists that are in suits and ties with clean nails that are on the,
it's like the Pro Farmer Tour. We call it the Lion Tour. Everybody does. So you have they have a Pro Farmer Tour every year.
Pro Farmer Tour, okay.
You'll hear about it, and that's when they basically load up in Missouri and they drive all the way up through the Corn Belt. It's a big party with all these. But it's nothing major to it. And they're looking at everything from roadsides. With scanning capabilities, we should be able to fly those fields and have better ideas on what actually took place. Just because it looks good on the edge doesn't mean that's what it is.
Right.
And that's dictating our market. So, man, every year you'll read about that USDA found 100 million bushels of soybeans or 200 million bushels of corn. How'd you find it? Where'd you lose that?
Right.
I mean, you're talking about at today's current price, that'd be over $10 million. How'd you lose $10 million? How'd you misplace it?
Where'd that go for a little bit? Yeah.
Basis on the rivers right now are negative 28. So if you look at Chicago Board Trade, we're 4.11 a quarter.
Which app do you use for your futures?
Farm Futures.
Okay, just Farm Futures. Okay.
Farm Futures app. It's a Farm Future magazine is what it is. It gives It has some articles in there, stuff like that.
Okay.
But they've gone to an all digital platform.
Okay. All right. I was just making sure.
This is to the elevator I deliver to.
Okay.
So
all right.
we have live basis updates and all that.
Which elevator are you taking yours to?
Cargill mainly.
Okay.
In West Memphis.
In West Memphis.
So
okay.
this is based out of West Memphis. So like right now, so you say 411, and the average person says, well, that's not 450 or 470, but that's all right. Well, take your basis off. That's 20 cents. So if you had number one grade,
390. Yeah.
so you're at 391. I probably got $700 an acre tied up in my corn crop. So 700 divided by 3.91. Before any other deductions, I'm at 179 bushel an acre on corn just to break even.
And what's it at now?
That's why I better be average to just break even. The price you just looked at is 5 minutes old.
Shit.
Soybeans. This is what's dictated a lot of spraying. This has hurt ag pilots, custom applicators. This hurt everybody. Is these prices? So people got money, they'll spend it. If they don't have, if corn was $5, well, he'd be tied up. If he wasn't here, his crew would be going north steadily. Airplanes are running steadily. You're making
something just happened too, because Grayson just told me they did something
3,200 on soybeans. So 1008 is the board price. 3,200. So it puts you at 976. You're gonna have, let's say, 550 an acre by the time you figure all the expenses up in it. And it was divided by 9.76. That's 56.35 bushel. You better average break even.
on soybean.
On soybean. That's your dry land. That's your irrigate. That's everything. That's the reason why everybody in the industry is hurting so bad. Then you have the high repairs to go along with it.
Right.
Because how do you forecast a repair? You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can forecast the oil change in your vehicle, but you can't forecast a tie rod end break.
Right.
You can make a budget for it, but how do you keep up with it with the inflation rates of what we've had?
Right.
Mechanic come over yesterday, he next door, and he told you the price to rebuild an engine today. When he picks the parts up tomorrow, that price is going to change because that's how fast it's upticked.
Right.
And they're hoping dropping, the Fed's supposed to drop interest rates today at 0.25%. They're hoping that's going to do something to it, but it'll take. Then you got other people saying, well, after the election it's going to get better. It takes 3 years to undo anything that's been done, even if you have an election.
Right.
It's just too much. It takes too long for it to come down the pipeline.
Yeah, what's doing now is what Biden just started. What Biden undid when he first got in is what we're going through right now. And
it all snowballed. So when we dealt with the COVID ordeal, we dealt with stimulus money. I know that's great for everybody. Everybody probably got a little bit, and everybody was glad to get it.
right.
But the money had to be printed somewhere, and it has to come back. That's the reason why it's called circulation.
Yeah.
It's got to come back home at some point in time. Well, money wasn't coming back home, so we're going to raise interest rates. We're going to slow the economy down. The problem is the economy was already false to start off with. We were already building off hopes and dreams.
Right.
Now you raise the interest rate up, but to offset interest rates was a corporation. Was Walmart, all the rest of them. Anybody that supplies them, they're going to go up in price. They're passing that along. Well, on top of that, what else happens? Well, the overall price went up. Well, when the overall price goes up, the taxes on it go up as well, because even though it's 10% tax,
Yeah.
10% of $3 isn't the same as 10% of $6. It's doubled.
Right.
They were trying to get the money back home quicker, and it broke. Deere, for example, Deere was setting world record profits.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they start seeing where profits are fixing not pay where they're at. And my wife worked at McDonald's, so she was general manager for them. They measure.
She was like one of the best ones ever. Like they Yeah.
They measured everything in profits.
Uh-huh.
It isn't a P&L. Did we make this type of profit this month? They
Right.
knew they were going to make money this month. Did they make profit?
Right.
And by doing that, we have really shot ourselves in the foot.
Right.
Everybody's chasing the dollar. So now deer is shut down. They're all in Mexico. You cannot get a deer part. If you order a deer part today, if it's not in the United States,
Yeah.
it will not be to you in 6 months till they get tooled in Mexico.
So
These
6 months, yeah.
These X9 combines that everybody's talked so much about.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They got an auger that's not in the United States, and they're waiting on one to tool in Mexico.
Gotcha. I got a client in Stuttgart that's waiting on that. Yeah, yeah. The Withams, yeah, they're waiting on that. Yeah.
My question on the drone stuff is, which I mean, the 30 was a good prototype. It was
Right.
It was really good to see if it was going to be used.
Right.
The 40 was, I mean, that's what I'm using right now. And I thought that was great till at 50. The 50 is so much. The 50 setup is why I didn't like it. The battery life on 50, because those were my 40 batteries we were sticking in yesterday.
Oh, were they? Okay, okay.
And we were going twice as long. So we were running into battery issues.
Yeah.
Even with being hot, I didn't have a cooling station set up. That
Yeah.
was just straight sitting them on a charger.
Which is in here right now.
Yeah.
So,
So that was a major improvement. But I just don't see, farmers are probably the world's worst cook. Most of them, the average age of farmer was 63.
yeah, yeah.
It's on up there in age. It's
The,
basically
the,
they
the
finish
farm the
crop.
farm owners. Yeah, yeah.
Me, I'd rather train, and I'd rather have people trained and bring them in. I'm not trying to cut an airplane business by substantial amounts. That we still can't fertilize with it. Not like we need to be able to. We can't put out 350 pounds of urea at one time.
Right.
We could, but it would suck.
Yeah.
It would just really suck. Back.
Yeah, the time would be. It was.
Time
Yeah, I
is
mean, it wouldn't
Now, if you-
work.
If
Yeah.
you want to do some test plots on some fields to see what works,
Right.
well, the drone will come into really good place. But foliar feeding fertilizer to increase yields, it'll really shine because it's going to make you do it right. If you try to mix it with any of the other stuff, it will cause issues. So that's a no-no.
So, which foliar feeds? What do you
I
mean?
run Delta Ag stuff.
Okay. All right.
We ran into 900 types of issues.
Okay.
Which we were mixing insecticides, just like I would do with my ground machine.
Right.
Well,
Right.
my ground machine has big agitators with it.
Right.
Drone doesn't have that. Drone is meant to be quick.
Right.
Get it in, get it out. Big sprayers aren't meant to be quick. We're meant to get across big acres.
Right.
We go both ways on it. With a drone placed around here, it's not a good idea to try to do that because of the chemical restrictions that a drone has on it. Just because they're air restrictions. They're for public safety, environmental safety. I'm paying an airplane pretty good money when now I've got the capabilities of not paying them as much. I can start recouping some savings.
Right.
And it's a harsh business, but it is business. They still make a lot of money off fertilizer. They're going to make on average.
They're always going to do fertilizer, but now I think with this one, especially with you taking the Mavic 3 multispectral, which this winter we're going to get a lot better on, that combined with you've had the one, and now I've told you everyone's buying bundles of 3. Everyone's getting 3 T50s and bundling, and that's why they've already had so many damn emails to us about if you're going to get them, you better reserve them. If you're going to get them, better reserve them. And I was like, okay, part of this is like, okay, they're trying to sell us, they're blowing smoke up our butt, and then once I've had 2 people do that, I'm kind of like, oh, maybe they're not. So I talked to my other applicators. I got a guy up in Wisconsin, I got a guy in Michigan, and a guy in New York, and a lady in California, and all of them are dealers, and they're all like, yeah, same thing. Everyone's coming in, they're cutting already. They're like, all right, let's do the 3, let's reserve, let's get this done, let's get this rolling, because it takes the end number time and stuff like that. So I thought that they were blowing smoke, but no, it was actually it. Yeah. And the thing that makes me the maddest is the T40 and the T50 don't work together. They use different controllers. Of course, they're different transmissions. You saw yesterday. You saw how nimble that thing was. That's the most nimblest. I mean, that to me.
To me, it was less sensitive than the 40. 40 was very sensitive.
Right.
If you touched the controller the wrong way, it moved. It was quick.